"You're wasting your life." Those were the last words a father said before throwing every drawing his son had spent years creating into the fire. The boy stood frozen, watching his dreams disappear in the flames. No one in the village believed he would ever become an artist. But what happened over the next few years didn't just change the boy's future. It changed the entire village forever. Long ago, in a quiet village surrounded by green hills and narrow stone roads, lived a 17-year-old boy named Daniel. Daniel had one dream. He wanted to become an artist. Every evening, after helping his father on the farm, he sat outside their small wooden house with nothing but a piece of charcoal and old sheets of paper. He drew the mountains, the birds, the old bridge, the smiling faces of children playing in the streets. But there was one problem. Daniel wasn't good. His drawings looked rough. His proportions were wrong. His lines were shaky. The village children laughed whenever they saw his sketches. Even adults smiled with pity. Some dreams are only for talented people. Daniel heard those words almost every day. Still, every evening, he drew again. Months passed. His father watched silently. One night, he finally lost his patience. He walked outside, grabbed the stack of Daniel's drawings, and threw them into the fire. "You've wasted enough time," he said. "You'll never become an artist." Daniel tried to save them, but it was too late. Years of work disappeared into ashes. That night, he couldn't sleep. He wondered if everyone was right. Maybe he truly had no talent. The next morning, while walking through the village with a heavy heart, Daniel noticed an old painter sitting near the marketplace. The old man was quietly painting a single white flower. People passed by without paying attention. Daniel stood there watching until the painting was finished. It looked so real that it almost seemed alive. "How long did it take you to learn that?" Daniel asked. The old painter smiled. 20 years. Daniel's eyes widened. 20 years. The old man nodded. "Not because I was talented, because I never stopped painting." He looked directly at Daniel. Talent gives some people a head start, but consistency carries ordinary people farther than talent ever can. Those words stayed with Daniel. From that day forward, he made one promise to himself. No matter what happened, he would create one drawing every single day. Not 10, not 20, just one. Some days the drawing looked terrible. Some days it looked slightly better. Sometimes rain ruined his paper. Sometimes strong winds carried it away. Sometimes he felt completely exhausted after working on the farm. But before sleeping, he always finished one drawing. One day became 1 week. 1 week became 1 month. 1 month became 1 year. Slowly, something invisible began to happen. His hand stopped shaking. His eyes noticed tiny details others ignored. His shadows looked real. His faces showed emotion. Without realizing it, Daniel wasn't practicing drawing anymore. He was training patience, discipline, consistency. The villagers still laughed because they only saw today's drawing. They never saw the hundreds that came before it. 3 years later, news spread across the kingdom. The king announced a competition. Every village could send one artist to paint a mural inside the new royal library. The winner would receive enough gold to change their family's life forever. The village immediately chose its most talented painter. Daniel wasn't even considered. Still, he quietly traveled to the capital with his small bag of drawings. Many artists arrived carrying expensive brushes and colorful paints. Daniel carried only simple tools. People ignored him. When his turn finally came, the room became silent. He painted a simple scene, an old farmer planting a tiny seed while children laughed at him. In the background, years later, the same tree stood tall, giving shade to everyone, including those who once laughed. There was nothing flashy about the painting, yet everyone who looked at it felt something deep inside: hope, patience, faith. The judges couldn't take their eyes off it. When the king saw the painting, he asked, "Who taught you to paint like this?" Daniel smiled. "My failures, and the decision to come back every single day." The king declared Daniel the winner. The entire hall erupted in applause. Weeks later, Daniel returned to his village. The same people who once laughed now gathered to welcome him. Even his father stood silently at the edge of the crowd. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Then his father walked forward with tears in his eyes. "I burned your drawings," he whispered. "But I couldn't burn your determination." Daniel smiled and hugged him. That day, he didn't just forgive his father, he understood him. Fear had spoken louder than love. Years later, Daniel opened a small art school in the village. Above the entrance, he carved one sentence into the wooden sign: "Talent may open the first door, but consistency builds the entire journey." Children came from nearby villages to learn from him. On the first day, every student expected to paint beautiful pictures. Instead, Daniel handed each of them a blank sheet of paper. "Draw one line," he said. The children looked confused. "Only one?" Daniel smiled. "Yes, because every masterpiece begins with one line, repeated with patience." My friend, most people quit because they don't see results fast enough, but success is rarely loud. It grows quietly. One page, one practice, one step, one day at a time. Never underestimate small actions repeated consistently, because in the end, talent may impress the world for a moment, but consistency earns its respect for a lifetime. If this story inspired you, share it with someone who needs this reminder today, and subscribe to Rise Verse, where every story helps you become stronger, wiser, and closer to the life you dream of. Remember, greatness isn't built in one extraordinary moment. It's built through ordinary days repeated with extraordinary commitment.